destroyed, bruh.
You're like this?
You shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
At least it appears to be. Good morning to you, and merry whatever day it is. Is it Thursday? It's Bronco Mendenhall Day. It's Pearl Harbor Day, and it's Bronco Mendenhall Day. It's the opening drive on Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. DC's producing for us. How we all living today? You all right?
What up?
How you doing back there?
Oh, I'm fantastic.
Bright orange Bronco.
I'm ready
For what?
for another exciting week of NFL action.
All right, I was thinking, did they play Oh, no, I get Steelers and Patriots tonight.
Very exciting.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Very excited for it.
84-61 in the pit last night. New Mexico beats UC Santa Barbara. The Gauchos are a pretty good team. They're the preseason favorite in the Big West. There's a lot that's impressive about what the Lobos did last night. And they did it without Jamal Mashburn Jr. in the lineup. Out again with an injury. It's a leg, it's a thumb. They did it with Jalen House not scoring a bunch of points. He had 5 points in 26 minutes. Doesn't mean he didn't play well. He just wasn't the offensive piece that he was. They did it with dudes that are freshmen, that are sophomore, that are making an impact. Two true freshmen, True Washington off the bench, and JT Toppin, 18 and 17. That's 35 points. And Donovan Dent, the sophomore who's turning into a star, 23. JJ, it's so impressive to win a game by 23, and your two big guns combined for 5 points. One of them didn't play.
And what stands out to me is what you opened this with, and that this team has been able to play defense as well as they have. And we talked about the additions in the offseason of how important they're going to be from Nelly Jr. Joseph inside to getting a little bigger on the perimeter with Jamal Baker being the starting lineup. We've really seen it from everybody. What JT Toppin has done defensively and rebounding, and then the size of True Washington too coming off the bench. And they had this foundation to where they've been playing pretty good defense. Yeah. And then the offense, and when you had Jalen House out of the lineup, Jamal Mashburn out of the lineup, a little inconsistent early, and all of a sudden it just really started to click over the last, now that's 3 to 4 games for the Lobos over this stretch where they're moving the basketball, they're scoring. And when you can pull away from a team in the second half, and that's a solid UC Santa Barbara program, but you pull away from the second half, and just like that, you're up 20, and Jalen House isn't scoring.
And Jamal Mashburn's not playing.
Jamal Mashburn's not playing. Jalen House isn't scoring. He just wasn't his night. He's all just missing shots after being Jalen burning the house down on Saturday.
Right.
It was impressive.
Yeah, I thought so too. And the way they are defending, and UC Santa Barbara was held to 36.2% from the field. Lobos, first of all, 13 isn't a great number. I always think, what's your number that you say, all right, I feel okay? And I understanding everything, I'm not asking, it's in a vacuum, right? So turnover number. I always look at turnovers as a bit of an indication. What number are you comfortable with in a game?
When a team's scoring in the 80s,
yeah,
and then I look and they have 13 turnovers,
yeah,
that's good for me.
Right, 10, 11, 12 is right where I'm like, okay. I mean, you're going to turn the ball over. Right when we start getting 13, 18, 17, 20, I mean, then you turn the ball over too much. 10, 11, 12 turnovers feels about in the area. We had 13 last night for New Mexico. They turned Santa Barbara over 19 times. Lobos had 13 steals, boys and girls. The Lobos are forcing turnovers. This is a different, at least it appears. And if I sound optimistically cautious, so understand this feels eerily similar to last year, does it not? Super, like and you should be excited. Last year when they started 14-0, and they were the last undefeated team in America. And then they hit league play and kind of got slapped around into reality. So I think there's some really good teams in this league, Colorado State and San Diego State specifically, right? But this feels different because I think they're playing way better defense. Last year in the early part of the schedule, I felt that they were kind of just outscoring people, right? You want to throw somebody out there where it will outscore you. And yeah, I mean, that's how you win the game. You outscore someone. But I feel defensively they're a lot better. They're different. And look, it's the addition. Toppin has been a difference maker, a true freshman who's in your starting lineup, who is long, who is athletic, who is energetic, who is bouncy, who's doing it on both ends of the floor. And now that True Washington's getting these minutes, another I don't know where the minutes are going to come from for him when Mashburn comes back, but Mushila seems like he's coming into his own, and they're deep, man. The fact that you're getting 15 minutes for Quentin Webb and you're finding time for Mushila and Amsil and True Washington, it feels a little different, but in some respects, I'm like, okay, I was here last year and I bought in totally, and then I watched it fall apart on the defensive side. That's why it feels a little differently.
This is a better basketball team than last year.
I think you're right.
It's a team that you say you're cautiously optimistic about. I have a better feeling about this team when January hits than last year's squad. And it is because of the length of the minutes that you can get from other people. And games get tight. You go into the season, you're not always going to be playing the amount of guys that the Lobos can play off the bench in some of these games. That's when you're able to take control of a game, you can get 2-3 extra minutes for players at the end of the contest. But I think it comes down to Quentin Webb and Isaac Mushila are pieces that this team didn't have last year. And it's guys that are longer going to defend, be physical inside, and help rebound the basketball. And those were the things that ultimately really limited the Lobos when it got late in the season. When they were it was all offense. We have to outscore you. Yeah. And if we don't, they didn't really have another way to win. I think this team has another way to win, and that is with their defense, because when you get into conference play and that scouting is extra intense and all these coaches and teams know what you do, most of them are going to play twice, you're going to need to win some games that you're not scoring in the 80s.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. Let's go. Want to hear your thoughts on Lobo basketball last night. 84-61 at the Pit. During the game, Bronco Mendenhall was introduced as the Lobo head coach. He will be introduced formally. I guess that was informally, right? He was just introduced to wave at the crowd. Hey, Bronco's here. He'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't talk to him. He'll be introduced formally, and you're allowed to ask questions. 10 o'clock this morning. We won't evidently you'll get to talk to Bronco next week, from what I'm told. At first I was like, no, give him another day. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's cool. We might maybe Friday. And then I was told he's not doing anything outside the press conference until next week. And that's fine. So you might get him next week. But he will speak today. We got a lot to talk about there. But I do know somebody who's got a really good thought on him, knows Bronco, was a Lobo when Bronco was the coach. Dontrell Moore is going to join us at 9 o'clock, the former Lobo great. The voice or the analyst on Lobo Radio on the UNM Sports Radio Network, second leading rusher in the history of the Mountain West Conference and the leading rusher in the history at UNM. So he will join us at 9 o'clock, and we'll talk about the hire from his perspective, a former player's perspective, and the energy around the program and what the guys that he's talking to, the alumni. I'm going to tell you the buzz, the alumni buzz that I've heard. The people, again, it's about 90-95% positive, right?
I agree with that from what we've heard.
It feels like, wow, the sentiment that we got yesterday, that whole, I didn't think we could get him. The whole, I thought that he was going to play above. It's kind of like the bowl thing. He couldn't get a better job. He couldn't get a better bowl, right? That whole thing. Why? It's in New Mexico. It can still be good. The Lobo job can still be good. It can still be attractive to people. New Mexico State's job can still be good. It can still be attractive to people because it's in New Mexico. And obviously for Bronco Mendenhall, it was a job I know that he sought after and he got. And so we'll hear that today. There's other UNM news, and we're going to have to get into this, and we'll do it a little bit more in the next segment after the break. But I got word. I got a call from Brett McMurphy of the Action Network. Is that what it is? The Action Network. Saturday, asking me if I had heard about this, and I hadn't. But evidently UNL's football loss, not necessarily the program, the game itself is being investigated in multiple states for abnormal betting activity. What I know, what Brett's reporting, I do have a call out to Brett this morning. When he needed me, he found me. Well, I need him. I'm trying to find him. I'm trying to get Brett McMurphy from the Action Network to come on with us this morning and let you know, because he broke this story nationally. But we'll talk about UNM and this game against UNLV and the investigation that is going on in multiple states in regards to unusual betting activity or suspicious betting activity. That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma.
My brother.
My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, blasted, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Sports Animal.
All right, there's a report out this morning, Action Network's Brett McMurphy. And Brett's a guy who, he's been on our show before, JJ, and I know Brett. I think, is this fair? Pretty respected national reporter?
Yes, he is.
He's pretty good. He's a, he does a lot of the same stuff Jerry Palm does, but he gets more into this investigative stuff than Jerry does. Jerry's the prognostic, and Jerry, by the way, from CBS Sports is going to be with us at 8:30 this morning to talk about college football and the bowl season and what he thought of the college football playoff selection. Brett's a pretty respected reporter. So I got a call, you guys, on Saturday morning from Brett, and he he was putting together his bowl projections and asked what some of my thoughts, and then he asked me, hey, have you heard about this? And he said that there's an investigation going on about abnormal betting activity around the New Mexico UNLV game on November 4th. And I'm like, I did that game. That was that blowout. What was the score? He said, yeah, it was 56-14. And evidently there were multiple accounts opened up in Vegas, and 6-figure wagers came in on UNLV on that game. All, cross town. So, DC went into Harrah's and opened up an account and dropped 6 figures on UNLV. JJ went into MGM and did the same thing, and I went into Caesar. So that sort of a thing. And so obviously that set red flags. The line went from 10 to 16 or 10.5 to 15.5, something crazy like that, right? It was 10.5 and went up to 16.5 right before kickoff. And so that, anytime that happens, that sends up a lot of red flags. So he said, "Have you heard anything about that?" I said, "No." I talked to Eddie about it. That Eddie Nunez, the athletic director, this week. He said he was aware of it, but knew nothing that was wrong that was going on in his program. That there was nothing there. He knew there was an investigation. So the story came out. Was it last night? This morning? That and Brett broke the story, and it's in the Journal this morning. That the large U.S. sportsbook noticed the activity, and the U.S. Integrity, it's a sports betting compliance firm, and it's partnered with the Mountain West to investigate potential patterns. Eddie's comment in the Journal this morning, quote, "The University of New Mexico is aware of an ongoing review by U.S. Integrity of our November 4, 2023 football game against UNLV. We are cooperating fully with the Mountain West Conference. To date, there is no indication of any misconduct, and we look forward to the conclusion of the review," end quote. This was the game, JJ, where the special teams coach got fired after it. It was the short fields. Remember, UNLV scored on their very first play, a 30-yard pass to Ricky White. They had 9-yard fields and 20-yard fields, and there was, I think, a punt return. There was special teams were a disaster. UNLV came out and just was throwing bombs, and this was maybe the Lobos' worst performance. Now, initially, your thoughts are when you hear this, what?
My initial thoughts were, I didn't think anything was off in that game.
Well, UNM was off that day.
It was just, we saw that second half happen against San Jose State as well.
Yeah.
3 weeks earlier. And it was a team that weekend was coming off a loss at Nevada. So if people wanted to bet against the Lobos in that situation, at that point in time, you notice that, man, UNLV's pretty good.
People were making money betting against the Lobos right around there.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But when it's the brand new accounts, large bets, I get why they would red flag it.
Yeah, they have to red flag it. I mean, that's typically. I mean, is it coincidence? I don't know. I mean, maybe it was the same group because there's limits at each property. Maybe there was one dude or one group of dudes who felt I love this game, man. There's something I know. I'm trying to think back. Was somebody not playing? Tavian Combs wasn't playing. Was there somebody vital for UNM who was not playing? Was there a lineman out? Was there a deep? I don't know. As I look back on it, I'm trying to remember my prep for that game and what I recall. All I know from that game is it was brutal, right? I mean that's one of those where as a broadcaster, you're a play-by-play guy on a 56-14 game. you got a job to do, man. Let's get through it, right? And you go deep into your notes and you're telling stories and yeah.
Well, it's 35-7 at half.
I recall.
And so it's not a game you look at and go, oh man, they were right there, and then they started just throwing the game away, and you're like, why would you make that decision? Why would a player do that?
Yeah.
It was
and let me tell you something. If for a player to do that, I can't even imagine how that would. I mean, it feels like the whole team would have to be on that, and it would have leaked, right? I don't know if there's something here. I don't know that there's not. Obviously, the story's out and they're investigating. This is a hard one for me. Usually in the past when you hear point shaving stories, right? Mm-hmm. It's a kid missed a free throw at the end, or a referee was in on it and he blew a whistle that swung the spread, or they missed a field goal, or the ball turned over. It's usually tight, man. It's usually not in a 56-14 game. Now, usually isn't always, and there's nothing that's absolute. It's hard for me to believe, knowing the people I know, the integrity of the people I know, thinking I know what I know, that anybody at the top knew anything about this. I don't know. It's dangerous to start speculating. All I know is this was a beatdown coming off of what was the game before they lost to Nevada? What was the week before?
They lost to Nevada.
And the game before was the San Jose State second half, right? So it
went San Jose State,
Nevada,
Hawaii.
Oh, okay, they won that game.
Nevada, UNLV.
Okay. You were coming off of a second half at San Jose State where you gave up 35 in a row. Then you went to Hawaii and won, or the game home in Hawaii you won. Thought you were feeling good about yourselves, went to Nevada, got beat by a not good Nevada team, and then got blued out by UNLV. I mean, the trend was people were making money betting against New Mexico.
And you look at that stretch, too, the UNLV game that happened, and then the next week you watch the Lobos go up to Boise. Boise beats them 42-14.
Yeah.
I don't look at that game and think, something nefarious was going on. No, they just got beat back-to-back weeks.
In the Boise, and the Boise
the
game
two teams that played in the Mountain West Championship game.
Yeah, and here's the other piece on the UNLV game. And if you pull up the stat page, I don't have it in front of me. Remember, this was the game where you go like, stats don't tell you the story. UNM owned time of possession. Well, yeah, because UNLV had 2 play drives on 25 down 30-yard fields. I think yardage-wise, it wasn't skewed crazy to UNLV because, well, they had short fields.
Yeah, they had drives that started like a 30-yard line in.
Yeah, at the 9. Yeah. So just this is out there. I got a note out to McMurphy to see what more he knows. I'd like to believe he would get back to me, but if not, still read him, I imagine. But I want to know where it came from. I do have a few questions on it, but he's in his story, Brett, in the national story, that said that there were multiple accounts created, and the sole purpose on those accounts, it's not like they bet a bunch of games. Open up a bunch of accounts and bet that one game and bet it big. And that's why they are looking at it. So it's there again, I don't know that there's what there is to it. I know it's certainly not something you want attached to your university and your athletic program. And sometimes optics, right? Optics are what rules the day, and that's really, really unfortunate because there's been nothing proven here. There's not even an allegation. An investigation is what's going on, and Brett ran with the story. So if you want to get in on that, you can. But it's there for you, and it's out there, and I mean, it's what it is, right? What time you want to do Red Zone today? We got Jerry Palm at 8:30. He's going to be with us. We're going to talk college football with him, his thoughts on the college football playoff bowl season getting started. By the way, on bowl season, 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal, will be your exclusive radio home for the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl on Saturday, December 16th, New Mexico State and Fresno State. The game will kick at 3:45. Bowl Season Network will have the game, and it'll be right here on The Sports Animal. So The Sports Animal will air right after the Vikings-Bengals game. So that's when the bowl game will be on. So that's pretty cool. I don't know that we've ever had the game before on The Sports Animal.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Also, on that note, tomorrow, I'll get you the exact time, the voice of the Aggies, Jack Nixon, will be with us. The 40-plus year, I mean, he's a legend now. Jack's won that NSMA award way more than I have as New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year. The legend that is Jack Nixon will join us tomorrow. And I was on with him on the radio. You know Jack a little bit, right?
Yeah, I saw him in Cancun.
Yeah, you
like, Jack, how you doing? He's like, hello. I'm like, yo, I'm JJ. I work up at the Sports Animal. He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, Jack's a beauty, man. And Aggie fans love Jack, and they should. I did the halftime show with Jack when I was down there for the Jacksonville State game, and he says, you have Coach Kill on, but you never have me on your show. How come I'm never on your show? I'm like, well, let's you've been on my show. I don't believe I ever have. So Jack, let's remedy that. Jack's going to be on, and you know why I want to talk to Jack? So I want to talk to him about him, and he's one of those guys that won't want to talk to him about him or talk about himself. You know, for a guy who's done 40-something years of New Mexico State football, like, can I tell you how stoked I am for him to get this year? You want to talk about a guy who's been through some bad football?
Yeah.
Like some bad, and I don't ever want to tell you calling a game as a chore, right? Because it's a privilege and it's fun. But I got to believe there's been some Saturdays in November over the last 4 decades.
Living high now.
Yeah, he is.
Living in the penthouse.
But don't you think there's been a few times he went out there and it was a chore in November? Of course. Yeah, I talked to him about that, and he said to me, and this is really kind of cool, because he wanted to talk about the bowl game, and I said, how about you, man? Are you enjoying this? And he said, thank you for asking. He said there were times, because I told him, when I used to do Aggie Vision, I would go down there on the November games, and I was doing the TV games, and it was just, there was nobody there. I mean, they were bad, and, you're going down, you got a job to do. And he said there were times where he would come to do that last game, and he's like, man, I'm glad it's the last one. You're pulling in, and I'm ready for this. And he said, I wish there were a bunch more. This team has been really fun. And for a guy like that, a legend who's been calling games for the same university for 40-plus years. So we're going to talk to Jack tomorrow. I'm going to shoot for about 8:30 on that, but we'll try to nail that down. All right, when we come back, he is back. National Football League starts off your week today. You will get the Steelers and the Patriots. But he's QB1 again in the Big Apple. Again. Is this time going to be the charm? Is it the third or the fourth or the fifth or that whatever time? It's the charm. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420
or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. You're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hi, I'm Steve Sucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Don't sacrifice quality and
Emails are coming in. Jeff at sportsanalyticq.com. JJ at sportsanalyticq.com. You're in on the investigation story that Brett McMurphy from Action Network broke on the New Mexico UNLV football game. Gopher says, of course, Nunez is going to shrug his shoulders, Jeffy. What do you expect him to say? And kind of my point, what do you expect him to say? I mean, and especially if you didn't know anything about it, or, do you expect him to say, yep, well, we did it? I mean, yeah, he said we're complying with the investigation. That was the right answer. What do I expect him to say? I expect him to say exactly what he said. Now, what do you expect him to say, Gopher? I don't know. Hondo said, what just happened here, Jeffy Lube? 4 years ago, you were, unlike the last guy, Danny is young and energetic. He's going to be out in the community. When was the last time you saw Bob Davey at a local high school game? He sounds a lot like Rocky. Why didn't things work here for Gonzalez? It's from Hondo. They didn't win. Why didn't? It's such a hard question, and we'll ask Dontrell Moore that. I mean, it's one of those things where Dontrell Moore is going to be with us at 9:00. The all-time leading rusher in the history of UNM football. Played at UNM when Bronco Mendenhall was the coach. Obviously, Bronco was on defense and Dontrell on the offensive side, but Dontrell's the analyst for Lobo football on the network. It feels like it should be an easy question. It's not. I mean, I know you've been asked this. Why didn't it work for Danny?
They could never have all three phases in alignment at the same time. And that's why you won 11 games over 4 years.
Yeah.
Because when they had a competitive defense, the offense was in such a flux where they didn't have good linemen. Thus, that affected the quarterback play. There were questions at the skill position. And then you got that right. And it was at a point in time where your defense regressed this year at the University of Mexico. And then also special teams wise. Yeah, they were not good in that phase of the game. And last year, they were solid defensively. I think they were top 30 overall in special teams stats. And when you always have two of your three phases of the game not working, that's how you're not able to fully take that step to becoming a bowl eligible team.
Yeah. I think there's right. It felt to me that they were turning the corner at the end, like it was starting to work. Last two games, they look like a good football team. Fresno State really looked like a good football team. And, I mean, they slugged punch for punch with Utah State in the last game and had a chance to win if they maybe go for the 2-point conversion, or maybe they lose on that, right? Maybe they lose there. You don't know. I mean, if he would have gone, or they would have lost right there. Or if they don't kick the field goal in the second overtime, right? Does that save his job? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to guess probably not. Why didn't it work? I don't know, man. Because I thought, and I will stand by this.
You're right. You look at all those factors, and Danny had the connections. Danny brought that energy back. Just didn't get it done on the football field.
Yeah. And I'm going to stand by this, and I'll take all the hits you guys want to throw at me. And I think a lot of you agree with me. Danny did everything right but win. And I'll stand by that. Whichever he didn't recruit right. No, I don't know that I believe in all that. I think he was a little slow adopting to the portal and NIL. More so the portal. All right. I told you before the break he's back. NFL starts tonight here on the Sports Animal. We have the NFL tonight, right?
No, we have Lobo.
You have a game tonight. I didn't know. So who do you got tonight?
Southern Utah.
Southern Utah. So we don't have the game tonight. So you guys are going to watch it on Prime, that big Patriots-Steelers game. The NFL weekend starts tonight. But he's back as the quarterback again. And I don't know if this is his third time, fourth time, 12th time. Zach Wilson will be the starting quarterback. When he put on the practice squad the other day, after he was benched, he was number 3. I guess not practice squad, not active. The number 3 guy's not even in the rotation. Anyway, quote Zach Wilson, I'm going to have more fun than I've ever had in a professional way. First of all, it's a beautiful quote. It's such a beautiful, I'm going to have more fun than I've ever had, in a professional way. From a guy who dates his mom's friends. Put it in whatever context you prefer. He addressed the whole report by The Athletic, and Diana Rossini's standing by her reporting. And she doubled down yesterday that she has multiple sources within the Jets who swear that Zach Wilson didn't want to play. He's afraid of injury. He claims it was absolutely not true. This is for the Jets. Quote Wilson yesterday. I've never once said that to anybody in this locker room that I wouldn't want to play. End quote. I mean, I don't know how much more direct he can be. All right. So Zach Wilson have a great game or a horrible game? Because I don't know if there's going to be an in-between on this thing this weekend.
Yeah, I don't. We have not seen that with the New York Jets that often. 5 straight losses. The points scored over that time, 6, 12, 6, 13, 8.
Yeah.
There's no great involved.
Find me some points somewhere, right? Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. What says you? Derek, you're on the Sports Animal. How you doing in Vegas after just a tragedy yesterday, man?
That was scary because I had just left campus about an hour before that. I had people working on campus yesterday, so it was when my guy called me right after I'd left them and said what was going on. Yeah, it was
It's horrific.
It was, yeah. But Bronco Mendenhall, I think, is a great hire. I think it's. I'm glad to see that UNM didn't really waste any time and found their guy. He's going to be a great fit. I called in last week and said could be that the SEC could have been left out of the playoff. And, well, they got Alabama in, but it wasn't without some controversy, right?
No, they should have been, as far as I'm concerned. But
I'm wondering how much of a difference the 12-team playoff is going to make. When you look at the final standings, 12 out of the top 13 teams are all schools that are going to be either Big Ten or SEC next year. And you can say, well, they'll be playing each other and they'll knock each other off and blah, blah, blah. Well, not necessarily, because I think Big Ten's going to stick with 9 conference games. The SEC, I believe, is sticking with 8, so they're all not going to be playing each other. I'm going to guess that at least half the field next year is going to be Big Ten or SEC teams. So I'm just wondering how much the 12 teams really going to expand to other conferences and to the group of 5 schools.
It won't. The ACC will get a team in as a champion, right? And the Big 12 will get a team in as a champion. And let's say they each get 2. And then the group of 5, so that's 5. So the other 7 are going to be SEC and Big 12. And so they're going to get between them, they're going to be 7, 8, or 9 teams. No, it's not going to change it at all.
No. Last note, and I'll jump off, I have had the honor of attending the Army-Navy game when I was in the Navy a long time ago. But if you've never been, go. It is such an event. It is amazing. TV does it good, but to be there in person and see everything from the cadets and the midshipmen come on the field, the flyovers, all the way to the end when they sing their Onamar songs. It's just an amazing event. Cool. I think it's the greatest rivalry in all of sports, and the reason why it really has its own day. So,
all right,
other than that, guys,
glad you're
great
safe.
day.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
And our thoughts are to those of you in Vegas who were affected by that shooting yesterday. Derek, thank you. This is a tragedy. As you hear that, another one on campus. They canceled the UNLV Dayton game last night, as they should have, and just a tragedy. I've never been Army-Navy, but I want to go for the spectacle. There's things I want to go to more so for the surrounding. I want to go to the Derby. I've never been to the Derby. I've got to get to the Derby. Everybody who goes to Kentucky Derby swears by it. I mean, I'll bet a few shekels on a pony here and there, but I don't know anything about it until a day before, and then I pretend I know something about it. But I want to go. I've never been to Indy. Still want to go to Indy. I want to go to the Masters. I want to go just for the events, and Army-Navy would be one of them. All right, if you're there, please stay there. Please stay there. You guys are gonna kill me. 505-246-0610. Efforting Brett McMurphy from Action Network, who broke the story on this investigation, that UNLV New Mexico game. Jerry Palm at 8:30 from CBS Sports. Dontrell Moore, the former Lobo great, going to be with us at 9 o'clock. Hey, winter's hitting you. Going to hit you hard here pretty soon, especially, we're going to get there. Not enough time to keep your car clean. I'm suggesting you call my friends at On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Help take care of your vehicle wherever and whenever it's convenient for you. That means they come to you. That means you're in the office, you're working, you're at home, you're with the kids, they're outside. You don't take it to them. They come to you and they detail your vehicle. When they're done, remember the day you took it off a lot, how fun it was to drive that vehicle, be in it, what it smelled like, what it felt like? That's what this is. The best part is they're offering big sales through December on all their services, from window tinting, paint protection film, ceramic coating, whatever they got. Go to their site and check them out. Stay free from the winter mud. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing today. And I know you're looking for a gift. I know you're looking for that great gift. This wins every time. OTSDetailing.com is where you can get all your info, and you can book and you can purchase. OTSDetailing.com.
Flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Sucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
And what we say, one line's open now, 505-246-0610, Jeff, JJ, DC. Lobos will introduce Bronco Mendenhall today. They won last night, 84-61 in basketball over UC Santa Barbara. And you'll hear from Bronco today. Lenny, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
Good morning. Before I switch to baseball, I'm going to say with the Mendenhall hiring, I'm excited enough to go buy season tickets.
Wow. All right, then. That says something.
Well, because, I mean, you're bringing in a seasoned veteran coach. But if you look at his history and you read up on him, he doesn't coach for money. He left BYU to go take over a Virginia program that he said he wanted to build from the scratch up.
He made some money there, though.
No, he made some money, but he's not money-driven.
Okay. That's fair.
Because I'm sure he would have had bigger offers than UNM.
I agree with
he
that.
came back here. Yeah. But I'm excited about this coach for the first time in UNM coaching since I can't remember.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you've never heard me say,
never have.
I would go and buy UNM football tickets.
No, that's good. All right, what else you got?
So now let's go to the Yankee Soto trade.
Yeah.
Because we're both Padre fans.
No, I'm not.
Do you know the Padres had to do $50 million loan last year to pay their payroll?
Did not know that.
Yeah, so that's one. I mean, condolences that they lost one of their owners, but this trade helps them restock 3 of the 4 pitchers that they lost in free agency. But how does it help the Yankees?
No, Juan Soto helps the Yankees. What do you mean, how does it help the Yankees?
Right, but where is their pitching?
Right. No, I understand. They're gonna. I got to believe they got a plan to go out and find some pitching. Look, the Padres get Michael King and Johnny Brito and Randy Vasquez and a prospect in Drew Thorpe.
Yeah. You know, and the only player they got that's strictly for backup is the catcher.
Yeah.
But and King's 28. The other ones are all 23 to 25, and they're all eligible. Soto only has 1 year left on his deal. So the Yankees went all in hoping they can re-sign him long term.
Yeah. No, I got to believe there's a plan, a deeper plan on this.
It is, but for the Padres, I hope it works out at least with 2 of the 4 pitchers.
Yeah. All right, man.
Because the thing that they have to look for is that young prospect that's 17 years old that's going to be in AAA next season.
Yeah. That was a blockbuster yesterday when they moved him. All right, let me move on again.
So now the next one will be, who does Ohtani end up with this weekend?
And I think it's this weekend, too. We'll talk about it next week.
And then last thing, congratulations. You got another great bowl game.
Thank you. Appreciate
Every
it.
New Mexico State fan should go out there.
It'll be fun.
And celebrate the season that they had and come out and support the bowl.
Thanks, Lenny. Enjoy the weekend, man. See you. New Mexico State, Fresno State, right here on the Sports Animal. A week from Saturday, the Isleta New Mexico Bowl will be here on the Sports Animal. Charlie, good morning. Thanks for holding here on the Sports Animal. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good. How you living?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Hey, just real quick, I'm really excited about the new hire. I am a season ticket holder, and I have been for a long time through some difficult times. So I'm really excited. I think with Danny, what I noticed towards the end of the year, I don't know, maybe started in the middle of the year, to me it seemed like a very undisciplined team, which created issues on offense and defense and special teams. So as much as I like Danny, I think probably the right thing to do was what had happened. The other thing I was going to say is, as far as the New Mexico Bowl, so I've been going for many, many years, and it's become a tradition for myself. I have 3 sons, 2 which are here in town, and the other one is finally back in town. And so that day is a day for the 4 of us to get together, go tailgate. My wife stays at home, wraps gifts. So I just want to say, thank you so much for putting on the bowl, and everybody should go out, whether you're a New Mexico State fan or not, or Fresno State. It just doesn't matter. It's just a great time to get out amongst the people. So, Jeff, thanks a lot for doing what you do, and man, I'm excited about Saturday, and keep it going. And, hey, how about them Lobo basketball?
Yeah.
You guys have a great day, all righty?
Thank you, Charlie. No, I appreciate that. You know what? I don't know Charlie. I don't think I know Charlie. Maybe I do. Can I tell you that's everything I wanted this to be? When we started 18 years ago, and I remember having a conversation about you don't make a tradition overnight, but maybe after 2 decades you do. Remember I used to use the word tradition?
Yeah.
I wanted this to become something that families rally around, that they every year, and I've got a good friend, and you know who he is. His son grew up going to every game, and Christmas time was the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. It was snow on the Sandias, the bowl game, and Christmas. And I love hearing that story more than I can even tell you. Rudy, good morning. Well, you're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Rudy.
Good morning. Well, I don't think I've ever seen that, but did you see Bronco when he left the court wiping away tears?
Yeah.
So it means something to him. And Lenny, welcome aboard. That's all I can say, because it's going to be a great ride. And I've watched this guy, and I told Dave Williams and Eddie, I just never believed in my wildest dreams that a coach of his caliber would want to come rescue this program. But Dave even told me Danny called yesterday to congratulate them. that's the kind of person Danny is.
Yeah, and that surprises me none. Danny loves this program. He's always going to be an alum. It's always going to be a place he loves, and hopefully, one of the hard parts is when a guy comes back to coaches at his alma mater. What happens if it doesn't go the way you want, and right, it ends the way it ends. Danny's one of the few kind of guys I think who's going to get it and still be there and still love this place. And I think this place, hopefully this place still loves Danny. And I think most people do.
Everybody does, and he's always welcome back. And I told Danny that, and he understands. And he's going to go out and he's going to make a name for himself as a defensive coordinator, and then maybe he gets another shot as a head coach. Yeah. He got a job?
No, he already made a name for himself. He hadn't got.
Yeah. No, really establish himself as a coach.
Yeah.
And I want to see him as a head coach again someday because I think he can do the job. I think learning is always tough, and learning on the fly and learning at your alma mater. That said, the young kids that are playing for UNM, this True Washington kid is everything that they said he was going to be. I am so impressed with how that kid plays basketball. He's way beyond his basketball years. He did some things last night on the court that I have not seen from a small forward, big guard in a long time. He drove the ball to the basket. He scored. He facilitated. He played really good defense, which is surprising. Him and J.T. Toppin are showing why maybe the transfer portal isn't always the way to go. If you can find high school kids like that and you can bring them in and they can play like that, keep doing it, Coach Pitino.
Yeah.
And he, I keep saying he put the pit in Pitino, and so it's a capital PIT from now on for Pitino.
Appreciate you. Rudy, great call, and we'll see you during the week. Rudy called at 505-246-0610. I would say the pit put the capital PIT in Pitino, as opposed to Pitino in the pit. The pit was here, but he certainly has got the pit going back to a level that it hasn't been in a minute. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Sucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
You're going to get your new coach introduced today. Bronco Mendenhall will be the new head football coach at the University of New Mexico. He was introduced informally last night. I'm walking down the hall. I guess a big thing over on News Radio today. Why was he wearing red? He was wearing blue. Why wasn't he wearing... maybe he'll wear...
a sport coat on.
A sport coat on, man. I think he's going to be just fine. I think Bronco knows what he's getting into. I'm going to tell you, this hire...
That really hasn't been a good thing lately.
And by the way,
throwing on a red sports coat to do it.
It hadn't been a football thing. I don't recall Rocky or Davey or Loxley or Danny or any of these guys in a red blazer. It's always been a basketball thing. And it was a basketball thing back when coaches wore sports coats on the sidelines. That's a pre-COVID thing, right? I remember Paul Weir when he said, I won't wear it until I earn it. And I don't think he ever wore it. No, honestly, I mean, that was his thing, right? He didn't wear it at the press conference. I want to earn it before I wear it. And there were Cherry Blazers games. Before you were here at DC, Steve Alford would, big games, he'd break out the Cherry Blazer. For a big, San Diego State would come in ranked or something. It would be a Cherry Blazer game. And then Craig did it a few times too. It was really kind of only those two though, right? I don't remember Bliss ever doing it. I don't think Richie or Fran Fraschilla did. It was always kind of a basketball thing. This will be, by my count, the 5th new head coach of the Mountain West next year of the 12 programs. Yesterday, Craig Bohl retired as the head coach at Wyoming. He's going to head up, I think it's the Coaches Association of the America, the AFC, there's an acronym to it. But he's going to be paid handsomely, and he's perfect for that, to be the head of the Coaches Association. Sean Lewis is the new head coach at San Diego State. Jeff Choate at Nevada. Spencer Danielson was promoted from interim to permanent head coach at Boise State. And Jay Sawvell, the defensive coordinator at Wyoming, was promoted immediately to the head coach at Wyoming. So you got a lot of new names to get used to in the Mountain West, and then Bronco Mendenhall will be your guy there. We're going to talk with Dontrell Moore coming up at 9 o'clock this morning about the head coaching hire, the former Lobo great, second leading rusher in the history of the Mountain West Conference, leading rusher in the history of UNM football, and the analyst on the Lobo Football Radio Network. He will be with us at 9 o'clock and interested in alumni thoughts, and a guy, certainly an alumni like him, who knows this place so intimately, who's a New Mexico guy, who's made his home here and is so closely connected, passionately connected to Lobo football. I mean, you work with Dontrell. I mean, he's as knowledgeable as there is when it comes to that. All right, let's go. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Edward.
Well, good morning, gentlemen.
Good day.
Jeff, to echo the sentiments of several other people, congratulations on a great matchup. I think it's a great kickoff to the prelude, really, the precipice of a great college bowl season. So I'm proud of you. Very nicely done, and I think it's going to be an exciting game.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. Secondly, the Final Four in college, I don't think there's only one major complaint. So if you look at 3 of the 4 teams that got in, they had their playoff. You know, if you look at Oregon and Ohio State and Georgia, they had their chance. Their playoff started 1 week ahead, or 1 game ahead, and they lost, so they're out. Right? So the only legitimate gripe maybe is Florida State, but I think they made the right decision with Texas.
Yeah, I know. And we're going to disagree on that. They made it the right decision from what do we think is going to be a better game, right? What do we think? What do I want to see? What do we think we're going to see as a better game? And it's not about Texas. It was about Alabama. It was them in Alabama. And so from that perspective, you guys are probably right. But with all due respect, to me as a team, a team showed me how good of a team they are, that they continue to win with their second and their third string quarterback, and they're going to get their number 2 back. My issue with it is they made a decision based on what we think we're going to see. And the whole TCU argument is garbage. Last year, well, we don't want to see a TCU thing again. You mean a TCU who won their freaking semifinal? Yeah, it was a bad final, man. And all of a sudden we're gonna oh my God, we had a bad final and we can't have that again. We had one really bad game. By the way, the semifinals were really good last year, and historically the semifinals have not been good. So that's my issue with it. You're right from the aspect of, we think we're gonna get a better game.
No disagreement as you unwrap that. And having unwrapped all that, guess who's going to win the national title?
Alabama.
Alabama's going to win the national title. High probability. That's kind of crazy. Hey, in the NFL, I think the Lobos got a great hire, by the way. Really excited. Good to see Lenny jumping on board. Shoot, I might even go to a couple of games. I haven't gone to a game in like a decade.
Good.
I'm fired up about local sports.
Good.
In the NFL, Belichick, during their 20-year reign in the NFL, when they got beat, he said, we didn't get out-coached. We lost because we couldn't pass, catch, block, and tackle very well.
Other than that, we're really damn good.
Other than that, we're awesome. And I find it ironic that the Patriots have gone away from that. And we're 20 years removed from them and Carolina, the 2 worst teams in the league. 20 years ago, they played for the NFL championship, right? So things flip. But I'd like to see the Lobo program fundamentally get a coach that can come in and emphasize we're going to block, tackle, pass, and catch with excellence, and we're going to change the trajectory of this program. Because I think JJ said, 11 wins in 4 years, and probably half of those were probably non-Division I opponents. I don't have it in front of me, but let's change the trajectory. It's a good inflection point to this program. Thank you for taking my call.
Appreciate
Have a delightful day, gentlemen.
Yeah, I want to go back to the college football playoff thing. And that's my only issue. Look, do I think this was a tough decision, Alabama or Florida State? I imagine, obviously, it was. My qualm with it, and do I have a little SEC fatigue and Alabama fatigue? I imagine that creeps into it. So I'm trying to be as objective as I can here. But my qualm with it is they made a decision, I firmly feel, on projecting what they think we're going to see. That, Florida State wouldn't compete with, they got to play Michigan, the 1-4 game, right? That they would be double-digit dogs. And you and I both think Florida State's defense would allow them to compete and compete.
Absolutely. I just watched Michigan only beat Iowa 26-0.
And Iowa,
even with a backup quarterback, Florida State has a better offense than Iowa.
Okay.
And defensively, they could stay in that game. And it's what they wanted with the committee. They wanted this leeway. They wanted to be able to say, well, we don't think this is a good matchup. Let's move on to this. And this is one where I don't think that the debate is good. I don't think this is good for college athletics to sit there and have an undefeated team scream for an entire month of December that they were wrong. You know what's good for sport? Playing the game. Playing it out. And I'm glad we're done with this 4-team nonsense moving forward where conference championships are going to matter. And I get it. There's going to be multiple teams from the same conference because they're gigantic conferences now. But we get to see these teams play it out. And when you get to at some point, there's always going to be someone left out. Yeah, and you know what? We don't care that much about Team 69 and 70. We don't. And we won't
Unless
care that
you're one
much
of those teams,
about
right?
13 or 14. Once the games get started, we'll be focused on that.
Well, and I think we'll scream about that for a day, and the people who get left out, especially when it's a big name, and it will be. In this case, it would have been Oklahoma or Ole Miss or somebody. They'll scream, and we got screwed, and then we'll move on. No, you're right. When the field's bigger. If I asked you right now, Oregon and Washington played the other day. Oregon was a 9.5-point favorite. They lost. Washington's the 2 seed. Oregon and Washington play next week. Who you got? Who's favored?
I think
it's Oregon.
That was probably the most impressive,
no doubt,
thing for me, is because I was right on board with riding that Oregon train.
I was
Washington
too.
was like, watch this.
I was too, but Oregon would be favored. Georgia is out, right? They're number 6, I believe, or 5, or they're 6. Georgia plays, I don't know, pick it. Washington, Michigan, Texas. Is Georgia favored?
Yes.
Oh, but they're number 6. Well, but they're not in. They had one loss. They lost the last game of the year to Alabama. So this whole, we think that they give them a better game. Well, then you should have put in number 5 and 6 and 7. Right? If that's what we because everybody believes, right? Georgia would be favored over Michigan, or certainly over Washington, and certainly over Texas. But Georgia's number 6. They're out. They weren't even on the cusp. That's all I'm saying. We play a full season, and those of us in college football have talked so long about the importance of the regular season, the integrity, the sanctity. The regular season means so much, and then we left out a team that did everything they can do, and that's my only issue. To Edward's point on the playoffs started a week ago, I've been on that for a long time, and that's my argument against expanding the NCAA tournament. Essentially, the playoffs start the week before when you have conference tournaments. You all have your way to get in. You're 3-27, but if you win your conference tournament, you get in. The playoffs started then. It's kind of what these conference championship games in football were. For Ohio State, the playoffs started when they played Michigan, right? And for Michigan, the playoffs started then. And then Michigan's next playoff round was against Iowa. For Oregon and Washington, the playoffs started in the Pac-12 championship. So we just don't call them the playoffs. We call them conference championship games. But am I wrong? Weren't they already playoff games? Wasn't it a playoff game for Texas? They had a win to advance. It was a playoff game for Alabama. They had a win to advance. Tell me where I'm wrong here.
You're not wrong, but
we're playing semantics.
Because Florida State, is that what you're laying out? They did that.
And they're out. Yeah. 505-246-0610. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports is going to join us, and we're going to talk to him about it at 8:30 and what he thinks about it. Let's give away some tickets. I got 2 tickets to give away to Lobo Women's Basketball. They're playing Boise State on January 6th at the Pit. And if you are the winner today, you will also qualify for a chance to win a mystery box from All In Autographs, and you will qualify for a chance to win another mystery box and one of the gift cards that are going to be given away on Saturday, a $50, $100, and a $250 gift card. All of that can be yours if you are caller number 3 right now. The number is 505-246-0610, area code 505-246-0610. You can win all that, Lobo basketball tickets, All In Autographs. It's all yours from your good buddy DC at 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. but it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Judge. JJ is $600 million. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that he is set to join LIV. 600 million. I mean, look, me too.
Got Hitler.
I mean, what? So we'll see. It's not official, but I mean, all signs are John Rahm's going to LIV right now. So once it comes down, I'll let you know. 505-246-0610. Frank, good morning. You want to talk college football? How are you, Frank?
Good. I was wondering why there's not a lot of comments on how Michigan's strength of schedule was so weak and how they cheated twice and they still get ranked number one. Yeah. Why are they being rewarded?
Well, I mean, because they went on the field and won what's considered to be one of the best conferences, and really, your point's not wrong. I mean, their win is against Ohio State. Their best non-conference win was against UNLV, and that's it. I mean, it's honestly the team who finished runner-up in the Mountain West. And
is that not all reputation? We don't. I mean, we assume Ohio State's a strong team.
I'll tell you why, Frank. Yeah, because they beat the hell out of people, and so they didn't squeak by anybody. Like 30-3, 35-7, 31-6, 31-7, 45-7, 52-10, 52. Right. So they left no doubt. They played Penn State and they won 24-15 on the road. And then their other close game was Maryland, and they beat Ohio State. No,
and so where did the cheating part of that come in? Where you had an advantage, you used the rules, and you violated the rules, and you cheated, and you're number one.
Yeah, totally overlooked.
They didn't take games away from them?
Yeah, they didn't take any games. They've not. The investigation is still ongoing. Nothing has been proven. It's been all out, alleged, and I don't totally disagree with you. They may or may not be the best. We're really going to find out a lot. But I think they're the team we know the least about because I think the other teams are the most tested. I think Texas got tested. They went and beat Alabama. Alabama beat Georgia. They played that tougher schedule. Washington's schedule is the best out of all of them, I think. Michigan, while number one, I agree with you. We're going to find the most out about it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. No, it's a really fair point, right? They're number one, but I do believe they're number one because basically they left no doubt in the games that they should win. I mean, they
not
crushed
wrong
fools
on the reputation.
Yeah.
And it's a thing. Once we see something, we're beholden to that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose a couple games, you're going to fall. But if you're ranked high and you win, you stay there. And it's not just because, they're really good. Like, Michigan's non-conference schedule was terrible.
They played East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green. That's what they did in their non-conference. And you're going to say, well, I mean, what did the other guys do? Well, I mean, you saw that Alabama played Texas. Yeah, they have their tune-up game against Chattanooga, whatever. But, I mean, it kind of offsets that whole thing, doesn't it? Washington non-conference, what did they do? They played Boise State and crushed them, who's perennially really pretty good. Tulsa, and then they went on the road and played Michigan State. Now, Michigan State wasn't good this year. But, I mean, for crying out loud, they played a team who won the Mountain West Conference Championship, who perennially is one of the best.
Schedule a Power 5 opponent
on the road. Yeah. Yeah, and then let's go through there. I mean, look, Arizona was good. Oregon was really good. Arizona State wasn't. Stanford wasn't. They beat SC in that shootout. Utah was good all year. Oregon State was good all year. And then they won the Apple Cup. Well, they squeaked by the Apple Cup, and they shouldn't have, but they won. Well, Jeff Soda, Florida State. I know. I think Florida State got screwed. I mean,
See, and this is where I don't think this debate is fun. Like, I want to see things played out. Like,
and we're going to next year, but that's where we are right now.
I know it's right now, but that's what I'm like. I like the fact that, I'm not going to sit here and be like, we need 13, 14 after this. Yeah. Like, we get our conference champs, get enough at-larges, you get a group of 5 in there.
And you can only play so many damn games, too, right? I mean, you heard Jerry Kill the other day, New Mexico State's coach, talk about that we've already played 14 games, right?
FCS does it.
Okay.
No one complains about those.
Yeah. Do they play 14?
Oh, they're like 2014 playoff.
Well, through the playoff, yeah. Do they play an 11 or 12 game schedule, regular season? And I don't know the answer to that. I should. I mean, you can only go so far, and I imagine you can go as far as you want to go and as far as the money's going to let you go, right? But, yeah, you're going to get to play this out next year. But who did Texas play? They played Alabama, dude. Rice is a bowl team. They played Alabama. They played Wyoming, who's a bowl team. And, by the way, Wyoming went down there, was 10-10 with them going into the fourth quarter. That's not a bad non-conference schedule for a power conference team, right? Rice in-state, on the road to Tuscaloosa, and then a Wyoming team that fought him. So that's what he's not wrong on the Michigan thing, man. He's not wrong. Who did they play? Nobody. Yeah. Who's got it easier than us? Nobody. Not the Harbaugh thing. Who's got it better than us? Nobody, right? Who's got it easier than us? Come on. All right. The UNM gambling story that came out, Brett McMurphy from Action Network, and I can't believe he's not getting back to me. Did I say can you? CJ says, in my research, the gambling investigation surrounds the unusual activity pregame that caused the line to jump immediately from 9.5 to 16. Yes, that's exactly right. Yes. This also says, didn't anticipate talking Padre baseball this morning, early in December. No, but they traded Juan Soto, so it's kind of a big deal. That's a monumental trade, don't you think?
It's huge. But probably the most important thing is we found out you're a Padres fan.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
I went to school in San Diego. I'm not from there. People don't know that. Everybody, well, you went to San Diego State, you must be. No, and not that I wouldn't be proud. I love San Diego. But I mean, you love San Diego, don't you? I mean, who doesn't love San Diego?
Mission Beach, man, there's nothing better.
It's just, I mean, it's a wonderful town. But I grew up in the LA area. All right, let me hit you a few of these that you guys are coming in on. Rod, Danny did everything but win Jefferson? ? It sounds like you're saying he should get an award for being the Mountain West Conference's most complete coach. Not what I'm saying at all. I didn't say he was the most complete coach. No, I mean, look,
but it's not that hard, man. Like some people want to make something of everything. There was no cheating scandals. They didn't have player after player after player getting in trouble off the field. No sanctions on the program.
Wasn't afraid to be in the community and promote it. Like, yeah, they didn't win.
People want so bad to just trash everything because they didn't win.
Yeah.
But you can't make a statement like that. The dude won 11 games. What are you talking about,
I'll
Jeff?
stand by it.
It's like the other stuff that goes with it.
Yeah. And it's cool. If you don't like him, you don't like. I'm not going to tell you to like. I do. I made that very clear. Danny, and
he did what so many people wanted. What so many people felt disconnected about.
Except for win.
Bob Davie. Yeah. And you can't deny that. And people want to play revisionist history all the time. No, people were like losing their mind and are like trying to make oh, he doesn't live here, he doesn't care, blah blah blah. And so you got someone that did that and just didn't win.
Didn't work. Like, and I wish it would have for him. Yeah, I'm not going to be too proud. I like him a lot, and I'll stand by it again, man. Yeah, I think he did everything right except for a win. All right, when we come back, Jerry Palm's going to be with us. CBS Sports, we're going to get into his thoughts on the college football playoff. Bowl games, maybe some coaching hires. He's one of the best at CBS Sports. He's going to be with us when we return here on the Sports Animal. You got a right to protect yourself. You got a right to protect your property. Have IPS help you with that. I called IPS years ago. I don't call them often because, well, they're there every day. Officer Crespin comes by my house regularly. You see them protecting homes and businesses all over the Burque. The criminals don't care about laws. IPS does, and they're committed to stopping criminals from targeting your home and business. They got highly trained armed officers. They respond to alarms, usually in 7 minutes or less. Police are great. They just don't have enough to react until it's way too late. IPS gives you peace of mind, protects what you've worked hard to build. They install alarms and security systems. Call them, find out what they can do for you. I think you're going to be impressed, and you're going to be thrilled. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 or IPSglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque a better and a safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet.
Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors.
JJ Buck, back to your phone calls in a little bit. The Isleta New Mexico Bowl set for a week from Saturday, 3:45 at University Stadium. 2 coaches will hold the press conference today. You'll hear from them. That game, for the first time, will be right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. We will be your exclusive radio home for New Mexico State and Fresno State, and that kind of kicks off bowl season, and we'll head to the college football playoff. Bronco Mendenhall will be introduced today, 10 o'clock, so in about an hour and a half out at the pit as your new UNM head coach. So there's a lot going on. 5 new coaches in the Mountain West as of now for next year. Jerry Palm is the guru of college sports, or at least, I don't know, one of them. What's like Grand Poobah? What's your title from CBS Sports?
Yeah, I get called a lot of things.
Yeah.
Very rarely Grand Poobah, but you know what that is.
You like that one? Yeah, Grand Poobah has always been a good one for me.
Yeah.
How you living? You good?
I get a lot of things that are similar to poo,
Yeah,
but not
you do.
Grand Poobah.
I've seen your Twitter. Yeah, no, I know how people react to you. All right, let's start right here. Bronco Mendenhall, head coach at New Mexico. I know you're not like the guy who digs up all the rumors and everything, but when you heard that, your impressions of how the Lobos did in their coaching search.
Yeah, I thought that's pretty bold. It was that's a great hire. I mean, that's a guy who's been successful. Now you've got two college programs with great head coaches. Successful head coaches, and I think it's got to be a pretty exciting time for New Mexico because it's been such a moribund program for a while now, and there's got to be real reason for optimism there, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, there were a lot of names. I know Matt Wells was up for the job. Rocky Long expressed his interest in coming back. Brent Vigen. It's been interesting. All right, I want to get into the playoffs, but your thoughts on our matchup. I've seen CBS Sports put something out the other day ranking the 41 matchups. These never mean anything because we're always ranked like 30-something, and we end up being like top 10 game. So maybe this year we're ranked 16th by whoever wrote the story, which was kind of
Tom Fornelli.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. I'll take 16 out of 41. Well, what do you think of what we got with New Mexico State and Fresno State?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great matchup, especially for your game because you have the local team. Well, maybe not the super local team,
Right.
but you got New Mexico State, which had a tremendous season, and their fans now have a chance to for a short trip to a bowl game. So. And Fresno State, I mean, that's a pretty good team. Jeff Tedford is not coaching, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so, but, I saw Fresno State, the home opener at Purdue. They came in and beat Purdue. I mean, that's a pretty good team. I don't know what happened to them late in the year because they kind of tailed off a little, but that's a talented team. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, I'm fired up. All right, Jerry Palm from CBS Sports with us. All right, I'm going to let you know my opinion. JJ, a little different. I think Florida State got hosed, and I'll tell you why. I think the committee picked projecting on what they believe is going to happen. We don't want to see another TCU. What? TCU won the damn semifinal game. An undefeated team got left out over an Alabama team. And my honest feeling, and nobody will ever say this, I think the committee was afraid to leave out the SEC. That's just my personal feeling. I understand why it happened. I understand the dilemma. And if you're going to tell me, do I think Alabama gives a better game for Michigan than Florida State? I'll even buy that. But then we're a sport that prides ourselves on the integrity and the importance of the regular season. And all of a sudden we got a 13-0 champion. And the other piece of that is we talk about best team. A team continued to win with a second and a third string quarterback. That shows me they're a pretty damn good team.
They beat the 14th ranked team with the third string quarterback.
I mean, that's
no. This is egregious. I mean, it's unconscionable that you're leaving out an undefeated major conference team. And you mentioned the SEC thing. The committee will never ever be able to defend itself now against the accusations of SEC bias. Whether it's true or not, it no longer matters because you will no longer be able to defend yourself against that. I just can't. I can't fathom it that you would leave out a major undefeated team. And the quarterback's been hurt for 3 weeks, and Florida State never moved in their rankings until it mattered.
Yep.
And that's just stupid. I'll never accept it. It's if Florida State beats Georgia, they should claim a national championship, even though either team will have the rosters that got them to that bowl game. But it's just no. That's just 100% wrong. And I don't understand. You're giving Texas a second chance. You're giving Alabama a second chance. You won't even give Florida State a first chance.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And I don't understand the TCU comparison anyway. Like TCU won a game.
Yeah, they won the semifinal. That's where it's ridiculous. They won the
second or third.
Yes, they won the freaking semifinal. Oh, you don't want a team who got to the final? It's ridiculous. He's Jerry Palm. CBSSports.com is with us on these Sports Animals.
Well, Jerry, with all that being said, too, what do you make of how they tried to spin it and the reasoning that they tried to put out there to justify their decision?
I think they must have had a very large shovel That's what I think. And that's all the farther I'm going on the air.
And with this too, we can look at Florida State, and it's just one of the reasons why they have been clamoring to get out of that conference, because what you just said, the SEC bias, Florida State sitting there going, hey, if we're in any of these other power conferences, they wouldn't leave us out.
Here's the thing. None of us have actually talked about merit.
Yeah, please.
It's all about bias. It's all about stuff that doesn't really matter. Alabama needed divine intervention to beat a mediocre Auburn team.
A team who New Mexico State blew them out of their own built.
Yeah, no, don't give me any of that. The Alabama fans are really mad at me. Really mad.
Yeah, I get it.
So guess what I'm doing? I'm going to Toronto for the Purdue-Alabama basketball game. So I will immerse myself in the 15 Alabama fans that make the trip to Toronto.
Hey, by the way, Florida State was 2-0 against the mighty SEC.
Although the committee would tell you that Jordan Travis played at least in the first of those games.
All right, so help me on this argument. It's about the best team. If you're down to your third-string quarterback and you still are beating the 14th-ranked team in the country, isn't that a pretty damn good team? And you're going to have your number 2 guy back because he was in concussion protocol and you don't play for a month.
We don't know.
That's the point.
That's the thing, is that we don't know what it takes to beat Florida State because nobody did it. We know what it takes to beat Alabama. We know what it takes to beat Texas. We have film. We could watch. We don't know what it takes to beat Florida State because the only team that beat them all year was the selection committee.
Jerry, one thing that I was really impressed with is what Washington was able to. It felt like just the tide was turning. They were 9.5-point dogs. Everyone's on Oregon, and all they do is go win another game and lock themselves in. How do you feel about Oregon moving towards the playoffs? Or excuse me, Washington.
I was impressed with Washington as well. I thought that 9.5 line was pretty ridiculous. Although I had picked Oregon to win the game, I didn't think it'd be 10 points. They had been playing really well. You got to give Washington a lot of credit. I mean, they won their last 9 games, I think it is, by single digits. I think one of them was a 10-point win. Like, I think the USC game was 10 points. And that was the biggest win they had in terms of margin over their last 10 games. So this is a team that was finding ways to win every single week. Weren't punished for it, I guess, like Florida State was, apparently. But, I was really impressed with Washington. I think Oregon's a tremendous team. I think it's kind of a shame that they end up with Liberty in their bowl game, but somebody was going to. And Liberty was definitely going to the Fiesta Bowl. So, it just worked out that way. Liberty's probably going to get overrun if Oregon's at all interested in playing the game. But it's a great season for Oregon. Bo Nix and Michael Penix are Heisman finalists, as they should be, even though I'm not sure either one of them is going to win because Daniels had a tremendous year for LSU. I mean, that guy put up just, video game numbers. It's unbelievable.
Right.
And that offense all year.
Lastly, this NCAA president, the reform proposal, and understanding it's a proposal form and basically going to split subdivisions, $6 million buy-in for NIL. Momentum on this, what's your initial feel on this, and what are you hearing nationally?
I think conceptually it's the kind of thing that's been coming. I don't know if it's going to satisfy Congress, but it's probably a step in a direction that seems inevitable. It'll be interesting to see. There are so many details left to work out that it's going to take a while. But this is not something that's going from, hey, here's a good idea, to actually implementing the idea. So it's kind of ways to go. We'll have to see how it develops. But it seemed like the sport was, or college athletics, I guess, was heading in that general direction anyway. And one of the biggest things that's going to have to be worked out is Title IX.
100%. And I think that's one of the gigantic things that people just, for whatever reason, are deciding to look past because that's not an option.
I don't think Baker's the NCAA president. I don't think he's looking past it. I mean, he knows. But that's an issue, I guess, that is definitely going to have to be resolved in a satisfactory way. And it's a big deal. I mean, it's not a trivial issue to resolve, but it will. It's going to have to be resolved.
All right, JJ will be with you next week. I'm out for Bowl Week next week, so it'll be you and you're here next week, right?
Yes, I am.
Make sure someone's here next week. All right, enjoy Purdue, Alabama. Read him every day over on CBSSports.com. Follow him on the X. It's at JP Palm CBS. Anything else I missed, my friend?
No, that's it.
All right. Be well. Always appreciate the conversation. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
Take care. He's Jerry Palm, the Grand Poobah. Is that it? I mean, that's a fair title, right?
Yes, it is.
He's pretty damn good over at CBS Sports. All right. Dontrell Moore at 9, the former Lobo great, the all-time leading rusher in the history of Lobo football. Second leading rusher in the history of the conference. He's got like 18 or 19 records at UNM. And he's the analyst on the Lobo Football Radio Network. Could talk to him about the hire, his thought as an alum, as a lover of the program, as a stakeholder in Lobo football. We're going to get his thoughts and what other alumni are thinking about the hiring of Bronco Mendenhall. It's coming up at 9 o'clock right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
This report.
Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319. Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does. The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most.
I know you hate the debate on this CFP thing, but both sides are entrenched on this. I feel where Jerry is. I'm pretty strong. I think Florida State got hosed. Text line 505-246-0610 says, I sincerely wish there were a 12-team playoff right now. I think that's a common sentiment. It says now, I wish it was now so all these people who say that Florida State got screwed could watch them get boat raced by whoever it is they play. They didn't even look good against Louisville. And then therein lies my issue. Do we know for a fact Michigan's going to boat race them?
How did Michigan look against Iowa?
They won 29-0 against a bad team, or 26-0. Why are we so convinced they would get boat raced? And therein lies my biggest issue. We made this decision. The committee made this decision based on what they think is going to happen. And this is a really good emailer. And I know this person feels passionately about their thoughts. But we don't know that. We don't want to see another TCU. TCU won their semifinal last year. Yeah, they got run out of SoFi in the final. Like the champ game last year was brutal. Nobody needs to see that. And all of a sudden we're so afraid that we're going to see something. Go back and look at the semifinals over the year. And you tell me that you think Florida State was going to perform any worse than Oklahoma did or Washington did or any of these. Go. I want you. Do me a favor, TCU. Do you have a second? Can you pull up the scores of the national semifinals? Last year's were good. But please pull up the scores of the previous bunch of years' semifinals, please. Why do we think? And again, I don't want those. That's not what I want. I know they're trying to put good games together. But JJ, the fact that we're sitting here and we're talking about. We made this decision because they're going to get boat race. That's the wrong reason, I think, to decide who plays for a championship when a team's 13-0 and earn their way in.
Yeah, and it's not that I get the debate, but I'd rather be debating about watching them play a game, and if they get beat, so be it.
All right, so last year, Ohio State, Georgia in the semifinal.
They were good.
Yeah, it's 42-41.
Yeah.
TCU 51, Michigan 45.
Yeah, last year's games were really good.
Yeah, let's see.
But before that, they were not historically good. Jim says, per the committee's logic, we need a first alternate should a college football playoff team suffer a key injury in practice. It's a great point. What if McCarthy, the quarterback for Michigan, gets hurt this week and blows out his knee in practice and can't play? Do we eliminate them and say, well, they're not the same team, and we got to move everybody up?
All right, in 21,
yeah,
we had Alabama 27, Cincinnati 6.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Nope, no, it wasn't. Georgia 34 and Michigan 11.
Yeah, that wasn't good either. Before that, they were even bigger blowouts.
So before that, Notre Dame, Alabama.
Notre Dame got run.
Yeah, it was 31-14. Then we had Ohio State Clemson, 49-28 Ohio State.
All right, these aren't incredibly great games now. So we got this fear. Oh my goodness, we're not. And I get it. We want good games, and I want to watch good games. And everybody's telling me, as it is fact, that Florida State couldn't play with Michigan. And with all due respect, yeah, I've seen them play, and I've seen Michigan play. Would I pick Michigan? Yeah, I would pick Michigan to win. But you know that for a fact they would get boat raced? Why? Who'd Michigan play? Well, they played Ohio State. And you see that one? Yeah, okay, they beat it. That was a good one game against Ohio State. By the way, they were bigger favorites and they won the game, weren't they? They didn't cover, I don't think. That's all. Look, you're right. It's a bummer to have these conversations and talk about it this way. And I'd rather be talking about other stuff. And next year, we'll have different conversations. But yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. I got a ton of emails I got to get to. We're going to do Red Zone at 9:15. We'll get into that. Lobo Hobo's in on this. I'm going to get that later. I'll get that later because it takes a little bit more time. Omar says, I'm Marcus Mediocre. Jeff, I keep hearing rumors that he's going to play. If that's true, Dallas Cowboys defense needs to set the tone early. Can't make him look like Levi Williams the way we did the guy from the Seahawks, Geno Smith. Is Marcus Mediocre playing this weekend?
There's no rumors. David Carr was on NFL Network multiple times this week saying Philadelphia needs to sit Jalen Hurts until he's healthy. There's nothing concrete that Mariota's going to play.
Okay, so you had one analyst saying they should sit Jalen Hurts. Okay. All right, when we come back, he's as good of a Lobo as there's ever been. Dontrell Moore, the owner of Something Teen Records, I think it's 18 offensive records, the leading rusher in the history of Lobo football. Second leading rusher in the history of the Mountain West Conference. The analyst on the Lobo broadcasts for football. Going to be with us. We're going to talk about the new hire. Bronco Mendenhall will be introduced here in about an hour as the new head coach of Lobo football. What does this great alumni think? It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Boot Camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319. Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Take him on the basketball court, and he waves at the crowd and doesn't say anything. Today's the formal introduction of your new head football coach, Bronco Mendenhall, the former Lobo assistant coach. He was a defensive coordinator here. He had a successful head coaching run at BYU as well as Virginia. And now at 57 years old, he is returning to the Borque to take over the University of New Mexico program. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. We'll get back to your phone calls in a bit. The response has been, I think, 95% positive. And you know, I think there's some of you who are just not going to like anything that goes on over there. But there's a lot of people who are super vested in the program. And one of the guys whose opinion I value as much as anybody is the all-time leading rusher at the University of New Mexico, the second leading rusher in the history of the conference. He does a terrific job as the analyst with Robert Portnoy on football for Lobo, the UNM Sports Network broadcasts, and just vested in the program. Dontrell Moore joins us this morning on The Sports Animal. Good morning, Dontrell. How you living?
Good morning. How are you guys doing? Listen, every time I'm on or I talk with you, there's an excitement again. I'm on bed rest right now. I'm trying to relax a little bit, and you got me all pumped, man. I appreciate it. I'm doing all right. How about you guys?
No, we're good. I appreciate that. I hope you're feeling all right. Initial thoughts, man. And I know you're connected with a lot of alum, and everything I've seen from alumni is excitement. You know Bronco while you were a guy on offense and he was a guy on defense. You played when he was a coach here. I know you've kept in touch with him over the years. Your thoughts on this hire?
The initial thought is elation. Absolutely elated. I think about who he is. Robert actually texted me a couple of days ago and said, "Hey, what stands out from your time with Coach Mendenhall at UNM?" And I literally, didn't even stutter, I said, absolute class act, absolute intense competitor, no nonsense, expects perfection. I would follow him through a brick wall, a great leader of men. And that was 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And so I think...
Well, and you didn't even play for him, right? He wasn't even your position. He was on the other side of the ball.
Exactly. You hit it spot on. That's exactly what I think about. He was the secondary coach. He was the defensive coordinator, and I was the running back. And he was there for 2 years with me, and who he was as a human being, who he was as a man, who he was as a leader of men. To be honest, second to none for me. His intensity, his attention to detail, his competitive edge, what he expected of us, how he helped us get. It's crazy. I'm not joking. I was talking to Landry Brody, who was my fullback at the time. He's the head coach at West Mesa, and he and I were talking yesterday for like 30 minutes, and that's all we talked about was like, how can this guy who was never in our position meeting room get us to go to war with him right now, to go to battle with him? We would do it 20 years later. So here's the reality. We have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to turn into X's and O's. What we do know is that the guy that's now leading our men, obviously proud alum, is a great leader of men, and he's proven to do it in other places. And so I'm excited for the challenge, and I, for one, am going to support him wholeheartedly. We'll see what happens. But he's just a guy. He's my guy. You know, I can't wait to talk to him again and see him again and give him a hug. But looking forward to helping out in any way, and looking forward to being a part of what we all hope is getting Lobo football back to where it deserves to be.
He is Dontrell Moore, the all-time leading rusher and one of the best that ever wore a Lobo uniform. He's with us on These Sports Animal.
You know, Dontrell, one of the things that Jeff has said when you go back to Danny Gonzalez is he did everything right. They just couldn't get the wins on the football field. And you're talking about a guy that's connected to the community, loved the university. But from a football standpoint, what are some of the things that Coach Mendenhall could do to try to right some of the wrongs that we saw with the program?
Hey, JJ, how are you, man? There's not a right answer, and I told people that over the years that there's not a specific one answer. I think it's a multifaceted, dimensional fix to our beloved program at this point. And you're absolutely right. I don't think there's anybody that could match Coach Gonzalez's passion for the team, passion for the school, passion for the state, how he ingratiated himself tremendously with the people of the state and of the city. No one's going to match that. And I think what's crazy is that didn't necessarily amount to the kind of success that we had all kind of hoped for, including him. So to answer your original question, a couple of things that I think he'll be able to do is I think he'll be able to recruit players. He'll be able to recruit, I think, like the Samoan community, some of those players that maybe would have gone to Utah or gone to Oregon or he'll be able to recruit those players. Most notably for me, JJ, is the defensive line. And I think you guys know as well as I do, in the 3-3-5, you have to have a stud at every level. And this year, unfortunately, that's where it was kind of lacking. There was no pressure, on the defensive line. There was no people that could necessarily, run well sideline to sideline. And I think that's one of the places. I think the other thing is being able to sit down, because people who are having to navigate the transfer portal now, right? Having to navigate things that he didn't have to navigate as a head coach. I think what he'll be able to do is sit down and talk and look a man in his eyes and kind of restore just kind of that confidence and that intensity into being a Lobo. And I think if he could get a couple of the guys to stay maybe on the offensive side of the ball who have entered the transfer portal, I think that's another thing. But I think what he'll be able to do is he's a proven winner as a head coach, right? And I think bringing that confidence or that experience in is going to kind of bode well for what he's able to do. And I think that's one of the biggest things, the experience and the confidence and the ability and willingness to take on a challenge at a spot and a location that he's been at. Now, will that amount to wins? You got to get the right players in. You got to get the right system, man. I think, like I said the other, on the news yesterday, I would not doubt him. He is somebody that I literally would not doubt with anything. And I think that is a tangible attribute that I think will help him ultimately get things to where we hope they will get.
Dontrell Moore joining us here on The Sports Animal. And one of the things, too, with last year's football team, just the discipline. And sometimes when you just get caught in a rut, and I think with this team we saw just the penalties, and sometimes it would just get away from them. And it's something, of course, the coaches were focusing on, but it just kind of wasn't there. It feels like listening to you talk, being a former player, being around Bronco Mendenhall, like that's something from day one that will be there with that program.
Listen, I don't understand, obviously, watching every game, having a bird's eye view, leading the nation. I believe you guys will kind of correct me if I'm wrong, either tied for the nation or end up leading the nation in penalties, was crazy to me because we were disciplined teams under Coach Long. We were disciplined. I know they were disciplined teams. There was a point of emphasis for Coach Gonzalez. He cared about those things. It just kind of spiraled out of control and ended ultimately losing games, right? 2 wins away from being bowl eligible, and you could think of multiple games. I could think of Utah State and even Wyoming, and then New Mexico State, where those kind of things reared their ugly head, and that's 2 or 3 wins where you're winning 7 games, and it's a completely different conversation, right? We may not even be talking about Coach Mendenhall at this point, but my point is, yes, JJ, that is going to be a point of emphasis, and it's not going to be tolerated, period. Meaning, you won't play. You won't be around. It's like he literally demanded. I remember it. Like I said, I wasn't even in his meeting rooms, and he wasn't even my direct coach. And I felt like, man, if I fumble this ball, I'm gonna have to answer to Coach Mendenhall. You know, if I have a false start, I'm gonna have to answer to Coach Mendenhall. And obviously, my running back coach was the exact same way, Curtis Looper, and ultimate respect. But just Coach Mendenhall, just when he walked in the room, there was this aura of respect that resonates even still to this day. Yeah. And you guys will feel that. And I listen. This I don't know is what I'm saying. I don't know why Coach Gonzalez coach team had so many penalties. What I do know is that's going to be a point of emphasis and not allowed to be anything better than in what it was under Coach Mendenhall.
He's Dontrell Moore, the former Lobo running back, all-time great with us on the Sports Animal. And I spent some time with Bronco in a different capacity. I was at Channel 7 when he was a coach, and so I got to know him then. And I'm looking at some of the pictures now when he won the 5th New Mexico Bowl back in 2010 and when he was at BYU and they beat UTEP, and I got to spend time with him in that capacity, and he's everything you talk about. He's buttoned up. He's professional. He's much more personable than maybe his outward persona happens to be, and I'm impressed. But as I watch what's going on, as an alum, is there a prestige? Is there a pride that goes with, because people around the country are saying, wow, this is the best undercover hire that nobody's talking about. The CBS Sports Minute yesterday, they said best sports hire, or the best coaching hire so far. Look what New Mexico did with Bronco Mendenhall. The fact that this program was able to land a coach with this resume, with this pedigree, guy who was making $3.5–4+ million at Virginia, that came to your university, does it puff your chest out a little bit to say, all right, we are what we think we are, not what everybody tells us we are?
That's a great question, Jeff. I think about what you're saying, right? Proud, alum. Does it make a? I think the reality is we feel that he is us, that he was us, right? So I look at it a little differently from a novice standpoint, or from a not football player or not Lobo football alum, right? That he's one of us. So we got our guy, right? We had our guy in Rocky. We had our guy in Danny. We got another one of our guys. I think that's how I look at it personally. I can't speak on behalf of other players, but to answer your question, I think there is an element of like, man, we got a guy, we got a stud. He 11 years at BYU conference champion, 14 straight. The resume is what you were just talking about is unprecedented, right? From a non-Power 5 type person, and then to go to my point is, yes, there's an absolute error of like proudness. There's man, here we go. We got what we needed. We got what we wanted. A proven head coach, a proven winner, a proven perfectionist, a proven leader of men. We got what we wanted. Yes. But for us, it's like, he's our guy.
He's our dude.
He's our guy, right? Like, he's our man.
He's just Bronco, man. Yeah, that's our guy. Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's more of that, Jeff, than just the, what the guy from, let's say, California would say, or the guy from CBS Sports, right? Oh, man, they got this guy with high pedigree, right? This awesome, resume. No, we got our guy, and he just happens to have an amazing resume, and so it's a plus. So we'll see what happens.
Appreciate you spending some time. I know you're on daddy duty. I know you're under the weather. I know everybody's reaching at you. Man, really always appreciate it. We don't do this nearly often enough. And I think next football season we're going to start doing maybe a little bit more regularly. I had your buddy George in, my broadcast partner on the TV side, a number of times this year. He's unbelievable people. Be well. Congratulations. I know you guys are stoked as alumni, and the community feels pretty fired up. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and just feel well.
Thank you, Jeff. JJ, you guys be safe. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna lay back down. I'm put my daughter to sleep and go lay back down.
Take care of you and her. All right, I'll see you soon. Be well.
All right, you take
D-Train, Dontrell Moore, as good as there's ever been to wear a Lobo uniform. When we come back, we're going in the red zone. Games tonight. Who would you take, this guy or that guy? Tonight is the beginning of, it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Jim Rome. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Program and is really a stakeholder of the program. It looks like Brett McMurphy's going to join us. He from the Action Network. He broke the story on this investigation of the Lobo football game against UNLV on November 4th. He's going to join us coming up here in about 12 minutes. So let's get the Red Zone in. I know JJ's going to run out to the Bronco press conference as well.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the Red Zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
On the surface, tonight's matchup does not feel like the game of the week. However, 53 guys on the Steelers and 53 from the Patriots undoubtedly see things differently. So I want each of you to make an argument that will change a fan's mind that doesn't necessarily see this as a compelling Thursday night football game.
Two of the greatest coaches in the league over the last decade take their teams into a big matchup as the Steelers in a playoff position, fighting for a playoff position. Throw out former top 2 pick Mitchell Trubisky in his first start of the year against the great Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game. And Ezekiel Elliott makes his first start. The former Cowboy great will make his first start of the year in place of the injured Ramondre Stevenson in what should be an epic battle. The Steelers and the Patriots right here on the Sports Animal.
Sold.
Well, it's not on Sports Animal.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So, just a heads up.
On Prime.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
For everyone who says...
Damn it.
For everyone who says it was better back in the day. It was better back in my day. This is the football game for you. It's about the defense. That's where it starts. 3 yards in a cloud of dust if you're lucky to get 3 yards per carry in this game. If you miss when football was about its control and its time of possession, we're going to run, we're going to punt, we're going to kick field goals. This is the game for you. If you're tired of those diva wide receivers, if you're tired of quarterbacks winning the MVP awards, this is your football game.
Or the answer is you had to plug in Ezekiel Elliott in your fantasy roster, and you're down to Mitchell Trubisky because every quarterback's hurt. You got fantasy interests. Get on Amazon Prime.
2nd and goal.
All right, so now that you got us all fired up for this barn burner, it's probably worth mentioning that it is a backup versus backup quarterback situation this evening. So, you guys tell me, who would you take and why? The former number 2 overall Mitch Trubisky or the number 137 overall 4th rounder Bailey Zappi?
I'm going with Mitch Trubisky. The thing with Mitch Trubisky, he brings a little wiggle out of the pocket. He makes some plays off script. Heck, he's a dude that took a team to the playoffs. And then he was in Chicago. Give me Mitch in this matchup.
Trubisky, I mean, at least he's shown you something. I wanted to lean on Bailey Zappi after like his first 2 games, and I'm like, whoa. All right, he's not that good. It's Trubisky. Not that he's all that great.
3rd and goal.
All right, so you kind of started going here a little bit, Jeff. Tonight is the beginning of the playoffs for many fantasy owners. Who, if anyone, would you start, and who are you sitting?
Yeah, I mean, it's right. They don't score, so I'll start the 2 defenses. If I got Pittsburgh or New England's defense, I'm going there. And we literally all had this conversation about Zeke. I mean, if you have to, and I have to. I'm starting Zeke.
Yeah, I definitely think Ezekiel Elliott is playable in a spot if you're looking for an RB2 tonight. There's 0 pass catchers you're playing for the Patriots. As your wide receiver 3 flex, probably like a George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. At this point in the season, do you have better options to go to? Not a lot of fantasy value outside the defense tonight.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
So yesterday we started talking about some of the newer coaches, innovative coaches. Tonight we have a contest that features 2 coaches with the most tenure with their current teams in the NFL. So who would you take if you're starting a team today? Wow. Bill Belichick or Mike Tomlin?
That's good. Who you got?
Today, I'm going to go with Mike Tomlin because I want the guy that's just going to be focused on football. And Bill Belichick's been doing a little bit too much. He's comfortable being the guy making every single decision, and that hasn't worked out roster-wise. And this is a conversation. I get it. I've had Steeler fans tell me, like, JJ, Mike Tomlin's done. Why are you saying these things about Mike Tomlin? Dude, when you don't have a losing record, that's ridiculously impressive in the NFL. Yeah, you might not want to be average, but you're never a disaster. The Patriots are a disaster right now with Bill Belichick. I'll go Mike Tomlin.
I think I'm going the other way, and I know I don't get as many years. It's hard for me to argue against the guy who might be the best one ever. And you're going to say, look at his last couple of years, and he's brutal, and they've been brutal. I wanted to lean your way, but I had to go the other way on this, so I'm going Belichick.
I had a tough time with that one, too. Because
where'd you land?
Tomlin. I just think he matches better with the modern player, and time also is a factor. But I just think, for me, if I was starting a team today, that'd probably be the direction I'd go.
Isn't it amazing the pile-on effect, though? Like when guys were great, and then they fall a little bit, then all of a sudden, back 20 years ago, I knew he was a jerk, right? I mean, the pile-on effect on Belichick is because it was sacrilege, up until the last 2 years to say a bad word about him because, well, I mean, he's Tom Brady's guy. Look at they won, and he's the best ever, and so, but now the pile-on effect with all these old stories that he was a jerk and he treated me like this and he didn't even look at me when he cut me and all the crap that's coming out, and I really sometimes have to question the motivation on a lot of it.
I think that's fair because you're absolutely right. Just suddenly, every former player has something negative to say. It seems a little odd, but I mean, you're right. The pile-on effect with Belichick, that I've never seen anything quite like it.
It's interesting, right?
And I think judging great coaches is one of the hardest things to do.
I agree with that.
Because they're always tied at the hip to one of the greatest players ever.
No, I mean, pick your sport. I don't care what it is. There's no guy who's won consistently without great players.
Because you look, it's a great example, just parallel right now, Bill Belichick and Greg Popovich.
Yeah, it's really good. And all of a sudden, Pop got Victor Wembanyama, and there's this rejuvenation. I mean,
they've lost 14 straight games.
Well, have they really lost 14? I mean, that's how much I'm watching the NBA right now. Have they lost 14 straight games?
He at one point grabbed a microphone and started yelling at his own fans.
Well, because they were booing Kawhi, which I thought was kind of a class act. Nobody else would do that. You may hate that. Tell me why you don't like that.
Because it's the NBA, and I mean, if you're playing poorly, you get booed.
That's not why they were booing the dude. They were booing the dude because he left the franchise and when they remember they traded Kawhi to Toronto. They were sending him to freaking Siberia, and because they thought he wasn't playing. I mean, it was Kawhi and he didn't play enough. They sent him to Siberia and he won a damn championship.
I don't know. In the NBA, I haven't.
Yeah.
If you get booed, you just need to deal with it.
All right, JG's you out?
Yeah.
He's going to the press conference. Bronco Mendenhall is going to be introduced in a half hour. When we come back, Brett Murphy from Action Network. So he broke the story on this investigation into the UNLV New Mexico game back on November 4th. There's evidently a federal investigation in multiple states, gambling activity. Going to let Brett get into it, but the line moved because there were a lot of bets coming in on UNLV on the New Mexico UNLV game. Talk to Brett about what he knows about that and college football because he's a really respected college football journalist. That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Telling it like it is.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Sucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the
on the bowl matchups before they came out, and then he asked me a question about this investigation. He asked, had I heard about an investigation into UNLV football game on November 4th? And I said I'd not. I called that game on TV. That was that 56-14 game where Lobos were down 35-7 at halftime. That was the horrible special teams. They fired their special teams coach right after that. And evidently there's an investigation going on because there were multiple, I believe it to be 6, accounts that were opened up at Vegas casinos with triple-digit bets all coming in on UNLV. The line moved from 10.5 to 16.5 in favor of UNLV, which is astronomical. And evidently there's an investigation going on. The U.S. Integrity, which is a sports betting compliance firm, has partnered with the Mountain West to investigate this. Brett McMurphy of the Action Network broke that story, and he joins us this morning on the Sports Animal. Morning, Brett. How you living? I got him there? All right, let's call Brett back on the other line. Let's use one of the. I'm going to let him go. Brett, you with me?
Jeff,
yeah, I got you now. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good.
Good. All right, was I close on the intro? I don't know how much of that you heard on
Yeah,
on that
I got the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, where'd this come from? How'd this start?
Well, basically, hours before kickoff of that game, a sports book sent an alert to an integrity monitoring firm, if you will, that they had some suspicious wagering on the UNLV New Mexico game, and then that monitoring firm notified other, the basically every legal sports book in America about this, and the game was played, and then I guess part of this investigation, they've found out, now multiple states are looking into the betting activity to find out sources that I talked to, other John Murray of the Superbook Sports Book here in Vegas, while not specifically talking about UNLV New Mexico, but one of the biggest red flags for a casino or a sports book is when new customers come in out of nowhere and open up accounts, and they all take the same side.
Especially with big numbers.
Yeah, and he gave me I didn't put it in my story, but his example was they had a guy come in several years ago and open up an account and put like $10,000 on Golden State to win the NBA title the next year. And lo and behold, Kevin Durant, 2 days later, was announced he was signing with the Golden State Warriors. So did this guy have inside information? Did this guy know Durant? Is it just a lucky guess? But they basically, they had to limit the amount and basically at that point, then they cut the odds in half because, he had, in their mind, he had some kind of information that was not available to the public. And so when you see, the line move from 10 to 16, the thing that really brought another red flag to these people is once the alert went out, they started moving the spread, and the spread went up. And when these big betting syndicates, when they bet on a game, and they could just like a game, they just may have loved UNLV. But one of the red flags was the books would move the line. If the line was 14, the books would go ahead and move the line to 15. So then these syndicates can go bet minus 14 somewhere else. They weren't. They were continuing to bet the bad number. So it was like they're trying to get as much money on this as they can, no matter what the number is. And that's another red flag. So because of that, they are looking into this.
So, Brett, who are they looking at? Are they looking at somebody within one of the programs, and it would point towards the New Mexico program if that's the case, right? Because if they're betting against New Mexico, typically if you know something, you're looking at the other side, right? That's tipping you.
Right. So I want to be very clear. I talked to Eddie Nunez at New Mexico, and he, as soon as he found out about this, he investigated it. He talked to his football staff, and they found no evidence of wrongdoing. I talked to Barry Odom and asked him, "Did you notice anything different?" And he's like, "No, it was just a game. I didn't notice anything different." I want to be, very, very clear on that. Obviously, also Gonzalez's firing had absolutely nothing to do with that. Nunez said, if it did, I would have fired him with cause. So there's no evidence from people at New Mexico and certainly from UNLV. But what they're investigating now is they have the ability to track who these bets were made by.
Right.
And do they find out that the bets were made by somebody that is tied in to somebody with the program or know somebody with the program or something like that? And that's kind of how they get to the end of
Brett,
it.
let me go. And Brett McMurphy from Action Network, who broke this story about this investigation on an inappropriate, potential inappropriate or unusual wagering activity on the Lobos game with UNLV. So it's not illegal. If I've got a buddy who plays on a team, or I know the coach, or it's not illegal for me to go make a bet, is it?
No, it's not. But if you're if you're the mom of a player or you're the brother of a player and you make this bet, it brings up questions. And again, it's similar to the college baseball situation at Cincinnati, where you had the relatives of players making wagers against the team because they knew the starting pitcher was out. You had guys, they had video of one of the guys on a cell phone, calling the pitching coach, in the casino, confirming the guy's out. So it's stuff like that. So no, it's not illegal for if you're a friend of somebody that that's there to do that. But again, when such a large amount of money, and we're talking millions of dollars, I think when they finally get done with these investigations on how much was wagered on this. And the other thing that makes it unusual is this was not Michigan, Ohio State. This was not Georgia, Alabama. This was a Mountain West game, an obscure Mountain West game, no offense. But the Group of Five, games do not attract that much money from the sports book. And when they do, it's you have action on both sides.
All right, I just want to be really clear on this. And so for people who are you see a headline and people start to lose their minds. nobody at UNM, and this is kind of the biggest reason I'm having you on in this market, to make sure nobody at UNM is being implicated on this. There's no accusations towards and that's what's got to be clear.
They have no evidence.
Right.
There's no knowledge of anybody at UNM that is being involved in this.
Yeah, and that's the biggest
and
reason.
Eddie Nunez investigated this, talked to his staff, and there's nobody implicated at the school. However, these investigations where they see where the money comes from and who places these bets, that's what they want to see, and see if that leads them somewhere.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, absolutely nobody at UNM is implicated in this. But again, it will be an investigation, and that's what they want to see where this leads it to.
Lastly, from a national perspective, Bronco Mendenhall is going to be introduced as the head coach at New Mexico here in about 21 minutes. Your thoughts on that hire? Is that around here there's some excitement?
Eddie Nunez hit a grand slam. It's a cliche, but just an incredible coach. He obviously certainly he has ties to the program, but he's one of the best coaches out there as far as who New Mexico could hope to get, and certainly with his track record. And more than that, he's just an incredible human being. I mean, he's just super. And I think it's a great hire for New Mexico. I think I've lost track. I don't know if there's more coaching changes in the Mountain West, or there's more players in the portal. But it's one of the best hirings in the nation for sure.
All right, man. I appreciate you clearing this up. So I mean, and again, the headlines get lost. And I want people to understand. Yeah, there was. You broke this story, and it's out there that there's an independent or there's a investigation going on, but there is no accusation against anybody or anything at the University of New Mexico. There was
correct.
There was unusual wagering activity around the game, and there is an investigation, but nobody at UNM is being implicated. And that's really with the headline. I see people read headlines. Brett, you know that they lose their mind. They jump to conclusions.
Time to read it.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate your availability this morning. Enjoy bowl season, and we'll catch up soon.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Man, take care, Brett. Brett McMurphy, Action Network. I hope that clears it up. All right. I mean, this is a big kind of the headline is going to be the headline, right? And like I said, I want to make sure that people understand that nobody at UNM is being accused of doing anything wrong. That they're going to read this headline. I've already got a bunch of emails on it this morning, and so I wanted to go straight to the source of the story and make sure we understand where it's coming from. 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Beautiful Thursday. Bronco Mendenhall set to be introduced in 14 minutes as the head coach at the University of New Mexico. JJ's out there, and we'll hear a lot of that tomorrow. And you can get in on anything we've done today. What do you got to know? Bronco Mendenhall's going to be a head coach at the University of New Mexico. You got to know the Lobos were victorious in basketball last night, beating UC Santa Barbara 84-61 in an impressive fashion. Defense led the day yesterday. And no Jamal Mashburn. Jalen House scored 5 points. Donovan Dent led the way with 23 points and 8 assists. 2 freshmen combined for 35 points in JT Toppin and True Washington. Lobos are deep, Lobos are good, and they beat a good UCSB team 84-61 in the pit last night. And next up, it'll be Santa Clara this weekend in Vegas. And you get NFL football tonight to kick off your week. Did I tell you on that? Patriots and Steelers. It's a big one. That's pretty good, though, huh?
I thought that was really good. You literally had me a little bit fired up for this game.
A little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's all about your fantasy football team tonight. That's why you're going to be in on this, right?
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good guess.
That's probably right. All right, let me get you some of the emails that you sent. Lobo Hobo says, "What do you think of these persistent?" I don't know, persistent. Somebody hears something or somebody thinks in their head and they tell me how they heard it a million times. Persistent stories I keep hearing, Jeff. Rocky knew Lobo football wasn't going to be very good, but he didn't want to look like he was stabbing Gonzalez in the back, so he decided to chill out in Syracuse for a year and get paid, thinking he'd ride back in the University Stadium on a white horse at the end of the season. And Rocky says, surprises anyone, he didn't get begged to come back. I don't believe that. I do know that Rocky was interested in the job. How about that? Yeah, I don't think he planned to go there. Danny's getting fired, and he's going to come back and ride it on. I don't believe he thought that. I thought he would have liked it. I know he would have liked it to come back. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay. I've looked quite a bit, many different websites. I've not heard any rumor or speculation about that at all. So if they keep hearing that, it's in their text chain or something.
No, or in their head.
Or in their head. Yes.
Sarah says rescue the program, but Jeff, a few weeks ago, Rudy said getting rid of Danny would set Lobo football back 5 years. He probably did. Yeah. There's a good chance about that. Omar, what it means to be the NFL's most complete franchise, the Dallas Cowboys, Jeff. Competitiveness on the court is just part of it. It also means we have the best facilities, the richest tradition and fan support, the best cheerleaders, the top owner. Ooh la la! Look at those ratings for a crummy internet string, and I guess they got huge numbers on their Thursday night game against the Dallas Cowboys. Thursday night football game with Seattle produced record TV numbers on Amazon Prime. Okay, yeah, the Cowboys draw. There's no argument about that. The Cowboys do draw when they play. Grady's in. No, for real. This is really quick. It's a quick follow-up. No, for real. This is really quick. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Florida State quarterback get hurt before the last 2 games of the season? If the quarterback injury was that damaging to Florida State and their playoff prospects, then why did the committee have them number 4 for those 2 weeks of the season? The quarterback was just as injured and out as he was after the season ended. The committee was waiting to see if Alabama beat Georgia so they could justify putting them in and not leave out SEC. It was gutless. It's a sham. That's from Grady. Yeah, you dropped the team that kept winning. We won our conference championship and we dropped.
Oh, hey, sorry. I got a call. Jeff, let me call you right back.
I don't know if that's ever going to get old to me.
I'm going to try and use it at least once a day because it is hilarious.
I don't think it will ever get old to me.
No, it's evergreen.
Yeah, Grady, I can't argue with you. I just think I look at the whole Florida State thing and I understand the eye test and the quarterback's out and they're not the same team and yet they continue to win a championship. And if you're telling me we made a decision on what we think was going to happen, it defeats everything we've been trying to do about trying to play this thing out on the field. Well, we got a playoff now. We used to do it by polls. Then we had a BCS and it was 2 teams. Then we expanded to 4. Now we're going to 12.
How does the 12 work out? Do 4 teams get a bye? Or I've never actually seen that.
Yes. Yeah, so if 4 teams get a bye, and it'll be 12 versus 5, 11 versus 6, 10 versus 7, 8 versus 9, and they will be on campus sites. So those will be home games, and then they will go into bowls for the quarterfinals. So in essence, the 4 teams who lose in the first round will not go to a bowl game.
Wow, that's an interesting thought. So you're number 10 in the country, you lose, and you're essentially out. You're no bowl game.
That's correct.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. And people say, well, whatever, they played in the college football playoff, and I understand that, right? But so those will play into bowl games, which like they do now. I think it's the Rose and the Sugar this year serve as the semifinals. So the other bowls will serve as quarters and semis. But the teams who get beat in that first round, so the 10 versus 7 game, the 8 versus 9 game, the 5 versus 11 or 12 game, the teams that lose will be done. There will be no bowl game for them. And then the 8 remaining quarterfinals will be played in bowl games. Semifinals will be in bowl games like they are now. And then the national championship game.
Very interesting. Yeah. Do you think 12 is the final number, or do you think that grows?
I don't know, man. I hope so. I know I'm in the minority. And this is the tough year to make the argument. 4 has worked almost every year. And I love that up until now, because Florida State will tell you it didn't mean anything, that the regular season meant so much. I firmly believe that the playoffs start at the conference championship game, right? Oregon and Washington played for a spot to go into the next round. Essentially, to me, that was a playoff game, right? Michigan played Iowa to move on. Alabama and Georgia obviously played for a chance to move on, right? Texas played for a chance to move on. Theoretically, Florida State should have been there. So that's where my argument obviously died this year. It was legitimate all the other years. It's my same argument with college basketball. Well, we need to expand it to 100,000 or whatever the number they want. Well, conference tournaments are basically playoffs, right? They're the tournament. If you keep winning, you keep advancing, and then when you lose, you're done. It's just like in March Madness.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way in college football. I'm one of the few, and I understand that I'm one of the few, and I understand the arguments against it, and I understand everybody hated it, and we're going to 12. I liked 4. I thought 4, and again, I'll go back on the premise. You can look it up, and I'm right. Almost every year, it wasn't that debatable. We almost always got the 4 we needed. This year was one of those years. I think there's been 2 out of the 10 that this happened, that it didn't work out right, or it wasn't as cut and dry.
You know, the way you lay it out, it's very interesting because, it does feel like in a 4-team playoff scenario, yet the playoffs have been going on for like 2 weeks now.
Right. And so next year, what are the conference championships going to be? Right? I mean, I guess for Iowa, they could have played in, but Georgia and Alabama would both be in the playoff. Oregon and Washington would both be in the playoff. Texas was in. I guess Oklahoma State would have been playing to get in. Right? Now, for the group of 5s, it'll mean something because the highest ranked group of 5 team will get a spot. So it would have meant a lot for Tulane and Liberty. Liberty would have played into the playoff, and Tulane played themselves out. Right? But for me, the majority, it just feels like the playoffs start a week back. The conference championships mean so much. What are they going to mean next year? What was the Pac-12? It was going to mean that you get the Pac-12 trophy. Now, obviously, the Pac-12 is gone next year, but it would have meant what?
Well, that's a great question because I look at the SEC and I'm thinking if both teams know they're in and they want to win a national championship, are they going to sit people? Or they, why would you run all your starters out against the number 2 or 3 best team in the country?
Now, you'd be playing for a bye.
Okay, playing for a bye, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right? You'd be playing for a bye. Alabama would have gotten a bye, and Georgia would have had to play in that first round. So you are playing for something, essentially. You're playing for a bye. Right? Washington would have gotten the bye over Oregon. Oregon would have had to play that first round game, and they'd have got a home game.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. But that's why I've been a proponent of 4. I know I'm in the minority. I got beat on this. I'm fine with it. I mean, but those are my feelings. It's like it's always worked.
Initially, I thought 12 kind of sounded good. I like the idea of the playoffs.
I get it.
But the importance of the conference championships is that's very important. And that does go away the more you have in the playoffs. So that's interesting.
Thanks to Jerry Palm, Dontrell Moore, and Brett McMurphy. They were all with us today. The Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On comes in at 4 o'clock, and then JJ's got the mic. Lobo women's basketball against Southern Utah today. Great work today.
Hey, tonight's the first night of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to all the Jewish friends out there.
Yep. All right, we want to do this again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.?
Yeah, let's do.
We'll do that. Be good to each other. Have a great day, boys and girls. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us, and my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Sunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.